Is it possible to be poor in a family of billionaires? Today we're going to react to a real-life story, supposedly real, that claims they are poor while their whole family are billionaires. Let's see if it's true or a scam.
I guess my life was a bit different to most kids. I spent a lot of time on my own. I don't mean I didn't have friends. I had lots of friends, but my parents left me on my own a lot.
I'm gonna tell you right now, those parents are not what I would imagine a billionaire-looking parent would look like. They don't have goatees, do they? Does a single billionaire have a goatee? No, they're all like bald, like Jeff Bezos or like Elon Musk.
My parents had very busy jobs. I don't really know exactly what their jobs were, but whatever it was, it took them away a lot. I didn't really mind. I was used to looking after myself.
Dang, you know she's rich when she's pouring freaking orange juice out of what, a giant crystal, what do you call that thing? That looks expensive to me, okay?
They traveled to lots of different countries. They would leave me by myself for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. When they came back, they would bring me lots of...
So they're drug dealers, likely, or they're human traffickers. Could be either one. That's my two guesses. I don't know why. Human traffickers, feels possible. This dude gives me creep vibes.
I kind of enjoyed it when they went away. I could do whatever I wanted. When my parents were home, they were always whispering to each other.
Yeah.
They would send me up to my room.
Yep.
Your mom and I needed...
Did you notice how, I'm just pointing out her eyeballs are... Okay.
...discuss some work stuff. Dad would say, just go to your room. You'll be bored listening to all this. Dad was really fun when he was around. I thought he was the best dad in the world. Only one thing he was super strict about. I wasn't allowed to touch his computer.
Oh, because it's got all the illegal stuff on it. We already know that.
Didn't know why. It's not like I was gonna break it or anything. I remember one time Mom and Dad had gone shopping. I was in my room doing my homework. Suddenly, the battery on my laptop died. Oh no, I thought...
And then as you're taking an online test, it dies and you get an instant 0 on the paper and your teacher says, sorry, you can't retake it. You should have known, should have plugged in your computer. Yeah, I've been there. I know how it feels.
I only had a bit more to do and then I could go out to play with my friends. Now I would be stuck here until Mom came home and I could borrow her laptop. Then a thought came to my head. I would just finish my homework on Dad's computer. It would only take me 5 minutes. He would never know. Sure. I ran downstairs and sat at
Technically, you're walking.
Dad's desk. I switched on the computer and heard the monitor come to life. Suddenly, the door flew open and Dad was standing there. What are you doing? He screamed at me. Get up to your room. You're grounded for a month. What is wrong with him? I thought. I couldn't believe he would get so angry. I went up to my room. It's so not fair. Dad just treats me like a baby. I can't believe I'm grounded.
You know what? That'd be pretty crappy too, but I don't know, man. Getting on your parents' computer just feels weird even now. Like, just nah, it ain't about it. I don't even think I'd find anything, but I don't even want to risk it.
It was about 2 weeks after that when Mom said that her and Dad had to go away again for work. To be honest, I was quite happy they were going away. I was still grounded, but they hadn't said I couldn't have any friends come over.
Ooh, throwing a rager with the parents gone, and then you steal a laptop and you find out your dad has secretly been stealing pieces of your clothing to dye his hair red.
As usual, Mom had made lots of meals and put them in the freezer for me.
Now hold on, but if you have 2 redhead parents, doesn't that mean genetically you're guaranteed to have a redhead family? If both parents are ginger, their offspring would be ginger, which means this is
All
not
I had to
even
do
their
when
daughter.
I came home from school was heat one of them in the microwave.
Oh my goodness.
The days went by, and before I knew it, they had been away for over 3 weeks.
Dang.
It's not like them to
And you
be
haven't even changed your shirt in 3 weeks.
away for this long, I thought. Hope they're not much longer or I will run out of dinners.
Interesting.
I opened the freezer and looked at the meals lined up.
Wow.
What shall we have tonight?
Wow.
I thought.
What I would do to have that in my freezer or fridge.
Lasagna or chicken pie.
Oh.
As I stood there thinking about the choices, I suddenly heard a loud knocking at the front door. Wonder who that is, I thought, as I
police
walked
officer.
towards the front door. When I opened it, I saw 2
Now that's just never a good sign, no matter what. There's never a good reason for police to show up, ever.
policemen standing there. Are you Casey? They asked. Yes, what is it? I replied. You'd better sit down, they said.
Oh, that's not good.
As they led me into the lounge, I knew something bad had happened. They sat me down and told me that my parents had been involved in a car crash. I'm sorry, one policeman said. Neither one of them survived. They must have been surprised that I didn't cry, but they didn't say anything.
Wow.
Are they at the hospital? I asked. I want to see them. I'm sorry, said the other policeman. That's impossible. We didn't find their bodies. How could that happen? I thought. This seems really weird. I wanted to ask more questions.
Maybe they paid to pretend to die because they wanted to get rid of their daughter that wasn't actually their daughter because it's not possible.
I sat there and listened as they explained that I would have to go to stay at an orphanage until they could find someone who wanted to adopt me. I wanted to say that I could look after myself, but I didn't. I knew no one was going to want to adopt me. I was 15 years old.
Wow.
People wanted to adopt cute little babies, not annoying teenagers. They told me to pack a few things in a bag, and then they took me to the orphanage. When we got there, a gray-haired old lady opened the door and smiled at me.
Wow.
"Come in, Casey," she said. "I'm Maggie. I'll show you to your room."
That's a spot-on grandma voice, by the way. That sounds so crisp in my ears. I mean, your grandma voice in the ears keeps the doctor away, is a saying they use often.
I followed her upstairs and along a corridor with lots of doors. When we got to the end, she opened the last door and we went in. There were 3 beds in the room. I could see the other 2 beds had girls in them. I went over to the third. "Try to get some sleep," she said.
That's what you do. Hey, your parents died. Try to get some sleep. You ain't sleeping. You're up all night rolling over.
The other girls smiled at me. They seemed friendly, but they had probably been told to leave me alone. I lay in bed thinking about my parents. I felt guilty that
Seems
I wasn't
likely.
crying, but I was used to being on my own. Eventually, I fell asleep. The next morning, I went downstairs to breakfast. The kitchen was really noisy. There were boys and girls of all ages chatting and laughing and fighting over pieces of toast and glasses of milk. As I sat down, they all gathered around me. "What's your name? How old are you? Do you like football?" The questions were coming from all directions at the
I mean, I'm really trying to figure out, like, that'd be kind of cool. Obviously, no one wants that, but I guess to have a bunch of friends, if they are friendly, like, would be kind of cool. Like, I guess, maybe, I don't know.
I looked around me, bewildered. Thankfully, the door opened and Maggie came in. She told them all to leave me alone and get on with their breakfast. "Come and see me in my office after breakfast, Casey." I went and found...
Why does she have to call it an office? Isn't that kind of scary? Call it like a fun room. Hey, come join me in the fun room. You know, that's a little better.
On Maggie's office. "Come in, sit down," she said, smiling. "We have some great news. We have found a family that wants to adopt you.
Oh, lovely.
They're coming to pick you up this afternoon."
Now that's weird. How did she get a family that quick? Is that unusual to be adopted within like 5 minutes when you're 15 years old? I feel like the answer is yes.
I couldn't believe they had found someone so quickly. I got all my things together and sat waiting in the front room. About an hour later, I saw a big, black, expensive-looking
It's a mafia, bro. It's literally the mafia. Or that's not her dad.
car pulling into the driveway. Could this be them? The car doors opened and a man and a woman got out. The woman looked like a movie star. She was beautiful.
Now you can tell she's rich, got that diamond necklace, got them circle glasses, got that hair in like the little bloop, bloop. You know what I'm saying? That's
The
rich.
man was wearing a suit and had a big gold watch on. Maggie introduced me to them. "You are going to live with Mr. and Mrs. Johnson," she said. I felt a bit nervous, but
Interesting.
Mrs. Johnson smiled at me and said, "Hello, Casey. We are so happy you are coming to live with us."
That sounds like she was forced to say that by someone. And is that her real? No. She has the same color hair as her mom. That's interesting. Mom's sister, perhaps.
We got into their car and set off for home. On the way, I chatted a lot. I didn't want them to think I was a sullen teenager. I asked Mrs. Johnson what her job was. They both just laughed and looked at each other. "Mrs. Johnson doesn't work. She will be staying home with you." I couldn't believe it. I was finally going to have a mom all to myself. I sat there for the rest of the journey, dreaming about the things we could do together. Baking, watching movies, maybe even gardening. But things didn't
I just had to pause it immediately because what are those?
You see, the Johnsons had never had children. They didn't really want me around them. Oh, they gave me everything. Their house was huge
Dang, they're living inside a giant red barn. That's classy. It's like a rich red barn
and
with
had
a
a
pool.
swimming pool. I had a beautiful room
And that's a fire hazard. You got those candles by the giant tarp by your bed, you're about to burn your whole house down. So congratulations, girl.
with everything I wanted in it. They had lots of parties for their friends, but they always sent me up to my room. How come I feel more lonely here with a house full of people than I did when I was
Oh my
actually home
gosh.
alone? I
Relatable.
thought? Because the Johnsons lived in a different area to my parents, I had to change schools. They didn't want me to go to the town school anyway. They sent me to a private school. Everyone at my new school was
Is this really how all y'all looking in private schools wearing polos and expensive shirts and whatever this thing is? What is that? A t-shirt with a freaking turtleneck t-shirt? Is that even a thing?
They weren't like me. They spoke so nicely. You could tell that they had been brought up very differently to me. I tried to make friends, but nobody was interested. Oh, well, I didn't care. I was fine by myself, but one girl seemed to really not like me. Her name was Megan. "You are so common."
Now I'm gonna say this right now. Girls pick on girls. I don't know if this is true. Maybe I'm wrong. Because there's a boy involved and she thinks this girl will steal her boy. That's my prediction.
She said to me one day nastily, "You don't belong here."
See, that's the kind of thing you say to a girl that you don't like because she's stealing your man. I'm just saying. All right, I'm
Why
just saying.
did she have to be so mean? What had I ever done to her?
You stole her man.
One
I
day,
think.
I was sitting having my lunch in the corner. I always sat there. I tried to keep away from the others. I was just finishing my lunch when a boy walked in that I hadn't seen before.
Here we go. This is it.
Oh my God, I thought to myself, he's so cute. All the other girls obviously thought so too. They were all smiling at him and trying to catch his eye. I knew I would have no chance with him. I stood up and went to put my lunch tray away. As I walked to the canteen, I didn't see Megan stick her foot out.
There it is, folks. Who called that? I called it. Now, I don't know. Hey, maybe I'm just a natural, but that's pretty good.
Tripped over it and landed on the floor. My tray of food went flying in the air and landed on my head. I wanted to cry. I was so embarrassed. Everyone was laughing. "Leave her alone," said a voice.
Get
I
him.
looked up. It was the good-looking boy. He smiled at me. My heart skipped a beat.
There it is.
"I'm Luke," he said.
I am Luke. That's the most anticlimactic way to say, I am Luke.
"You don't want anything to do with her,"
Yeah,
says Megan.
I bet
"She
you
is
did, Megan.
not one of us." "Actually, I think she's cute," says Luke. He held out his hand and pulled me
here
to
we
my
go.
feet. I nearly melted there and then. "Come on, let's go for a walk," Luke said. I followed Luke outside, still holding his hand. "I think you're really cute," Luke said. "Am I hearing things? Is this a dream? I know I'm blushing. Do you want to be my girlfriend?"
So he had literally the second sentence to her, he wants to date her. Is that weird? Or is that just the movie? That feels weird.
Luke asked. "Is he serious?" I thought.
Interesting.
Yes," I answered.
Maybe he
We
just thinks
started
you're cute.
dating and almost straight away we got really serious.
Yeah, just keep bringing those things back, don't we?
Luke was a
Good.
bit shocked when he saw my house. "I knew your parents were rich," he said, "but this house is a billionaire's house."
Oh, so her new parents are billionaires.
About
Okay.
a month later, I was walking home from school when a car pulled up in front of me. Before I knew what was happening, the doors opened and I was being bundled into the back of the car.
Bum, bum, bum.
I was blindfolded. The car started moving. I had no idea where we were going.
Now this is where it might not feel real anymore, but so far it seems possible, so maybe this is still possible.
The car stopped and someone pulled me out of it.
Dang.
They took me to a room and sat me on a chair. They tied my wrists behind my back and took off the blindfold. My eyes blinked at the bright light and I could just about make out a man and a woman
Interesting.
standing there.
That
"What
could
do
be
you
the
want
girl
with
that bullied
me?"
her.
I asked. "You just stay quiet and don't be any trouble," the man said. "As soon as your parents pay the ransom, you can go." Then they left
Interesting.
me. So that was it.
That girl has the same hair as her new mom.
They wanted money for me. The only time I saw them over the next few days was when they slid a tray of food in.
Yo, that's pretty fire. You got a freaking bottle inside of a cup with French fries and a donut. Healthy.
Why was this taking so long? My adoptive parents have the money, I thought. I heard the door open. I looked up. I couldn't believe my eyes. In the
Yo,
doorway
boy,
was
but he's too casual. I feel like he's about to, I don't know, this doesn't
Luke.
seem good though.
I jumped up and ran to him, but he pushed me away. I thought you'd come to rescue me, I said. "Rescue you?" he asked. I'm the one
who
that kidnapped
captured you. Boom!
I couldn't believe my ears.
Oh my gosh.
"Did you ever love me?" I asked. He laughed. "Of course not. I only love
No.
money. Now I have to work out what to do with you." I heard him say to the man and woman, "I'm going to talk to my bosses and find out what they want me to do with her."
Wow.
Then I
He's literally in a mafia inside of like a freaking literal private school. That
heard
seems
a car
unusual.
driving away. I sat there with tears rolling down my eyes. How could Luke be so cruel? Now I have no one. I
Done
heard the
for.
door opening again. I was expecting to see a tray of food sliding towards me, but instead, the man and woman came into the room. "Quickly, come with us," the man said. "We are going to save you." Now I was really confused. What's going on? I followed them outside and got into their car. The man drives, but the woman gets into
Yo! I said earlier in the movie that they had red hair, her parents did. That mom has red hair. The dad has the brown eyes. I don't remember what the mom's eyes were. This might be her original parents right here kidnapping her. This is getting
the
interesting.
back of the car with me.
Could that
As
be?
we pulled off, she turned to me and said, "Oh, darling, we have missed you so much." I looked at her, shocked. Her voice sounded
Yes!
just like
It
my
is the
mom's.
mom. I
But my mom
recognize
is
the hair.
dead. "Yes, darling," she cried. "It's me, Mom."
What?
I felt like I was going to faint. "But you and Dad died in a car crash," I say. Mom goes on to explain everything. "You see, Dad and I work for the FBI. We have been following Luke and his gang for months. We had to fake our own deaths and go undercover to catch them."
What?
"But Luke is still out there," I cry. "No, darling," says Dad. "Luke and his gang have just been arrested. You are safe now."
Did you really just fake your death for 4 weeks, send your child through the most trauma of your entire life, have her be an orphan, then get adopted, think you were dead, to catch a 15-year-old boy?
The Johnsons were all part of our team. This was so much information to take in at once. My
Does that just seem a little excessive to catch a 15-year-old?
real parents were FBI agents. Luke was a criminal who had tricked me. I tried to wrap my head around all of these thoughts, but then I felt overjoyed to know that my parents were still alive.
If you enjoyed this though, this channel is going to the moon, so join me on that ride by subscribing. Peace.